I'm going to propose something completely different and probably you haven't heard, scientific Feng Shui. And that's this kind of first introduction to this subject. And to put it in perspective, Feng Shui's legacy is about 4,000 years old. So a long time. Environmental psychology has been around only for 50 years. And scientific Feng Shui is about 25 years. And 25 years because that's how I've been doing Feng Shui. And when I start doing Feng Shui, I start to read about environmental psychology, cognitive ergonomics, other designs, ecological design, in order to understand how Feng Shui works and where is the overlap. And there's some other, obviously, disciplines like, have you heard of biophilic design? Biophilic design is incorporates nature in designing your houses and hospital designs. So, for example, they've added in some hospitals labyrinths, and that helps people to kind of calm down, recover better. It kind of creates the better atmosphere for working. Right. So, a couple of pictures of desks. Yeah. So just look at one. Just see what you see. Okay. And now we've got another one. So, what environmental psychology can tell us about these two desks? Okay, first question. Which person has more control in their life? Are you sure? People who feel they're in control of their lives don't mind clutter. I know. It's a big part of my presentation. So the more you feel in control of your life, the more success you will have. So obviously for some people maybe that's appropriate, and that's fine. It's not a judgment whether it's good or bad. I'm just sort of quoting the research, and maybe that's what they need. Maybe at some point it will look like this. Doesn't matter. But it's interesting take.
And one of the biggest human inventions, one of the most things that really changed us more than anything in terms of our own evolution is that when we developed the calendar, in ancient calendars you'll see the summer solstice and the winter solstice, so that's the longest and the shortest days, and then halfway between is the spring equinox and the autumn equinox. So if you have those 4 points on your calendar, then you can just simply count off days, like you see people in prisons with that. You can just count off days and you'll know where you are in the year. Once we had that, then we could plan ahead. And in China, they gave these points of the calendar different names. So then we had 4 different elements to describe 4 different phases, a bit like in Western astrology we'd have 4. But make a list of those 5 times a day and year, and just write for yourself how you feel, what it means to you. Because that would be your own experience of the 5 elements. And it's very interesting then later on if you're playing around with your house to have that list and see what the north part of your house or the south might relate to in your own terms. Now we can actually extend it a bit. So here I have it extended into 8 directions, but if you read lots of different books, you can see the 4 directions, 8 directions, 12, 24, and even more. What I would say is that there are just 3 points on this that are actually defined, and they are, what do you think they would be? Which directions could we define in terms of their sort of natural energy?
Now, why did I call this talk Urban Alchemy? Urban Alchemy means urban transformation, and it's the magical transformation visually of an area that could be otherwise drab. Buildings are pretty grey and drab much of the year, but when it comes to once it's got plants in it, it becomes really magic, it becomes enticing, it lifts people's well-being, and it's aesthetically absolutely satisfying. This is Patrick's transformation of the Cape Branly. And looking at his work, I can see that he's a type of botanical Banksy. He's basically put his floral graffiti up the sides of many buildings and really made places more exciting. And of course, commercially, they create a natural focal centre of the area. So they're going to attract more visitors, more people will want to stay longer around them. And so, as well as creating a feature that's shared with the community around it, it's also got, actually, when you actually look deeper into it, sound commercial sense as well, contributes to the success of the building.
And I'm going to talk to you about the Bazi, which means 8 images, literally, sometimes called 4 pillars, which, if you like, is sometimes misleadingly called a Chinese horoscope. I say misleadingly because it would tend to make you think of fairgrounds and tall, dark strangers. To call it a Chinese horoscope. It can reveal tall, dark strangers, but it is also perhaps the most powerful healing model that I'm aware of. So Bazi, 4 pillars, personal Feng Shui based on date of birth, whatever the hell you want to call it. No medieval Feng Shui master would have thought about surveying a palace or a tomb or a home without doing Bazis for the people within the buildings, within the graves. And my purpose today is to, partly because I teach this, to suggest to you that to know Bazi may bring a whole dimension to our understanding of Feng Shui and the way that we practice it. The heart of Feng Shui, from my standpoint, is cycles. That is the cycle of space and the cycle of time. And what we do, if we talk about, sniffing yourself here, if we talk in terms of the helpful friends area, or the relationship area, or the money area, we tend to lose sight of the cycles from which these things have come. And one of the points I want to make to you is the Chinese did not make these things up, they observed them. They're not options, they're really out there. Each Bazi has an individual set of relationships with the elements. So if your day stem, your day master, is this one, then you have what are called satsams, or 10 useful gods. They're different terminology. Joey Yap calls them useful gods, and probably some of you are going to see him tomorrow. For this day stem, money is wood, and wife is wood. Friends are metal. Output, that's broadly work, is water. Challenge, which is called kun. So challenge is kun, like that. Challenge, which is kun, is fire. And resources, that is parents, is earth. And what you have in a man-woman relationship is a kun-choi relationship. The wife is choi to the man's kun, that is, the wife is treasure to the man's master, to the man's victor. You know, I mean, my wife is here. I know these terms. We have to deal with them metaphorically, but that's the way this stuff is.